Number 19 of the 01 homework on page 102 is this graph of, or it's finding the limit as x, absolute value of x over x approaches 0. So we can't divide by 0, so we can't evaluate this, so we need to use a limit. Now, as a two-sided limit, well, it doesn't exist, so the answer should be B. But we should really understand how to look at this. We need to be able to understand and visualize this graph. So if I want to do the limit as x approaches 0 from the positive side, we really need to be able to write this as a piecewise function. So the f of x is going to be equal to, well, there's a positive section to this and a negative section. So if it's on the positive side, the numerator does not change, so we keep it as x over x, and that's going to be equal to 1. And this will be when x is positive. And then we have to analyze this for when x is negative. If x is negative, the numerator absolute value will change to its opposite sign, so it's going to become negative x over x. So if x is negative, we need to change it to positive with that extra negative there, and that simplifies to negative 1. And this happens when x is less than 0. So this is what my graphs are going to look like. As I approach x from the negative side, it's going to be headed towards negative 1. As I approach x is 0 from the positive side, it's going to follow the positive version of this graph and hit positive 1. So then the limit as x over x goes to 0 from the positive side, it's going to be equal to 1. And then the limit as x approaches 0 from the negative side of x, so absolute value of x over x is equal to negative 1. Those two limits do not equal each other. Therefore, the answer must be B. The limit as x approaches 0 does not exist. They exist as one-sided limits, but they do not exist as two-sided limits.